So you touched on your style of music not necessarily being mainstream and getting on radio or having a lot of blog pubs and all these things like that. So what do you think? I guess what is your approach to spreading the word outside of word of mouth? Like, what do you think that there will ever be, or what can be done to have a shift towards?
I mean, the focus of what's popular changes every day. Like it was the jam, right? So I mean, you never know. It could cycle back around. It very well could. But I can't rely on that. I can't rely on that to happen. So I mean, it's not like I get no support as far as like blogs or anything go. Like there are some great blogs who do support me, and that's wonderful. It's just harder to get them to listen, because OK Player, one of my favorites. But yeah, it's just harder to get the person to initially listen, especially a lot of the bigger blogs who are focused on their numbers and what's hot right now. Like it's like I'm not weird enough to be posted on some of the blogs, and then I'm not like ratchet enough. It's like I'm like a mixture of all these things. Like bring ratchet and weird together. But no, it's just it really is word of mouth. Like even with my past releases, and like gaining new fans, a lot of it's just been people who like me sharing it with their friends and telling people about it, and like going on Twitter talking about me and stuff like that. As well as working with the bigger artists like MC Train, Chance the Rapper. Like that's been really cool for my career, but it's also kind of like I'm just a singer on that track. Like nobody knows. I'm not saying nobody, but if you take the example of All Falls Down by Kanye West, do you know who sang that?
Nope.
It's Selena Johnson, and she's an amazing vocalist, and she has a kind of a career of her own. But yeah, like no one knows that. So like even the records that I've done with Chance, like it's not like, oh, that's Lili K. It's like, oh, that's the, you just sing along with it, just because that it's his song. So thank you. But yeah, so it's like you think that it would gain you a lot of exposure, and it kind of does, but at the same time, it really doesn't. So I think that Selena Johnson example is so spot on, just because, and I mean, she's a phenomenal vocalist. Like I went and saw her when she performed here a couple of months ago. I know her and Music Social, they're putting out an album together. They're working on it right now. And I mean, she's just phenomenal. But it's still like, man, you were on one of the biggest records in history, and a lot of people have no idea. So it's like, that's kind of one of the reasons I don't always want to like be so involved in hip hop. I really want to, form like my solid career and establish myself as an artist. Because I don't want to get lost in the shuffle,
Definitely hear that. So what advice would you give to any up and coming, soul singers? You've had, at least to me, in my eyes, you've had really good success up until this point. There's a lot more left to go, like you said, but
it's been a slow but steady upward climb.
So what advice would you have to somebody trying to get in from ground zero that doesn't have, the resume of opening for Music Soul Child, on the Chance the Rapper, on 3 projects? What advice would you give that person?
I worked to get to all those places. Like I never got any of those experiences based on favors or anything like that. I went to school at Columbia. I have a degree in music business. So throughout, like since the age of 18 to I'm 22 now, I graduated back in December of 2012. Like I was working, I was going to school, I was doing music, I was just really busy. But I educated myself as far as the industry goes. Like I learned about marketing, about promotions, about how to write a press release, how to network, how to do things like that, how to really make use of Twitter and Facebook and social media and stuff like that. And then learning the legal aspects of it, like register with a PRO. There's so many things that a lot of artists have no idea about. And I mean, I even managed myself up until like March of this year. And so everything that I had done up until that point was like by myself. I was a self-managed artist. I tried to meet as many people as possible, like go out to shows and things like that. It is really hard, you know, when you're in a community of music where what you do isn't the focus, or it's not even really respected or appreciated a lot of the time. You know, I'm friends with all these rappers and, you know, we're cool and everything, but when I drop something, it doesn't really matter to them because I'm not a rapper. So it's kind of like, it's this weird thing, and I'm definitely ready to expand outside of Chicago. But I feel like if I've made it as far as I have, being in a city that doesn't care about my genre right now, like you can make it, like you can make it anywhere. But I definitely still have a long way to go, and I don't know all the answers. But you know, persistence, keep putting out quality work. Don't rush things. Be trained in your craft. Like, don't put out some half-assed song that you think is okay. Like, you know, sing a take over and over again until it's perfect. Like, I went to an arts middle school and high school. Like, I was trained in classical, opera, jazz, theory. I know my music theory, you know, stuff like that. I've never had a private lesson in my life, but I went to, you know, a high school for it and sang in choirs and stuff, and just really learned and studied my craft. And then when you match that with the knowledge of the industry, you can really make some things happen.
So, you talked about expanding outside of Chicago at some point. What are the next moves for Lili K?
Hopefully the UK. That's
Like live there or do shows over there?
shit, both. I'd love to go over there. I have a few friends that live out in the UK, and they think that I would love it out there. Even just researching other artists, you know, who are up and coming. A lot of people who I'd compare myself to are from the UK, you know. Okay, we'll do that. But yeah, I mean, just anywhere. You know, a lot of people will hit me up on Twitter just from different cities, like, oh, come do a show here. And it's like, get me a big enough fan base there, and I'm there, you know. I'd love to travel. I'd love to, you know, maybe get an opening slot on like a bigger tour for an artist of a similar stature to me that would have like a similar fan base. I think that'd be a great opportunity. So we have a lot of things like in mind and a lot of things planned, and it's just kind of see what happens, like which opportunities present themselves first, and go from there.
Well, I think that wraps it up for me. Well, best of luck. Thank you so much for doing this. Any closing words or anything?
Not really. I mean, thanks for reaching out. I appreciate, you noticing what I'm doing. Some people don't, some people do. It's just, I don't know.
We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Lili, and we'll keep an eye out for anything that comes on in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.